Welcome to a brand new episode of the Around the Grounds Vodcast. It's been a little while since we've done one of these. There has been so much action going on, but I'm your host, Brian Reinhart, back with the owner and founder, GroundhopperSoccerGuys.com, Paul Gerald. Paul, got to start right off. New location, new background. Kind of tell us where you are. Where are you coming from today?
I'm in my new apartment in Madrid. Madrid, as they say it here. I think that's kind of how they say it here. Yes, I have since the last vodcast occurred. I have moved to Madrid. I have one more administrative meeting to take care of, and then I will be an official resident for at least a year. So,
okay, very cool.
Yeah.
I was going to say, is your plan to stay out there for a good solid year, you think?
Oh, at least. Yeah,
Okay.
possibly for good. Who knows?
Wow.
This is all sort of a test run. I've never lived in another country, but it's very exciting and learning Spanish and just happy to be over here.
Well, I tell you, you're in the perfect location because today we're talking about soccer in Madrid.
How about that?
All things football Madrid. Just a wealth. Obviously, I know it's one of your favorite cities. You've talked about that many of times. So I know you love to sightsee and go out, but the football in Madrid, unbelievable. 6 teams, 4 in La Liga, 2 in the second league. What's the vibe like just with all the great teams that are in Madrid?
You know, it's okay. So first of all, disclaimer, I don't speak Spanish, so I don't necessarily know what people are talking about, but I get the impression that among the day-to-day, just normal population of Madrid, it's not as big a deal as it is in London. There are more teams in London, and it just seems like who you support is such a part of your identity in London. And over here, again, I don't know what they're talking about, but it sure seems like most of them are Real Madrid fans. And beyond that, it's just a different vibe. Everything over here is a bit more relaxed, which is why I moved here. But yeah, the soccer is great. The neighborhoods, the stadiums, the weather, the food, it's all great. But it doesn't seem quite as intense, which is fine, So,
Well, the team you mentioned, Real Madrid, they kind of were in the news lately. And you were actually lucky enough.
They've done some things. Yeah.
They've been decent, won a trophy, signed a player, normal stuff.
Yeah.
But you've actually been over there for a little while. Tell us, you got to go to a Champions League game. How was that experience?
Yeah. The game when they beat Bayern Munich with a couple of last-minute goals, as Real Madrid tend to do in the Champions League. Carter from Groundhopper Guides, he and I were there together, seated up in the 600 level, up in the clouds of the Bernabeu Stadium, and just unbelievable. I have been to Real Madrid for like normal league games, and honestly, sometimes the atmosphere is not that much. The stadium is unbelievable. It is just like a spaceship landed in the middle of Madrid. And it's not quite in the middle, but I mean, it's right across the street is office buildings and apartment buildings and restaurants and stuff. It's in town. But yeah, sometimes the atmosphere, because, they're going to win and they know they're going to win and the other team knows they're going to win. And they're going to win the league probably. So they're just kind of this success machine, but if you catch them on a big night, like a European semifinal, it's pretty remarkable. And in that particular occasion, I mean, they were down 1 with about 10 minutes to go and going out of the Champions League and came back and won it to go off to the final. And I mean, when you're in the 600 level and people are jumping up and down, crying and hugging each other, and they get pretty passionate. Yeah.
You talked about going to the Champions League a little. You touched on the stadium a little bit, but what is it? Because everybody wants to go to a Real Madrid game.
Sure, and
what is I know you talked about the environment, Doran, might be a little less, but just where's the stadium in general in Madrid? What was your experience like going to league games?
It's a little bit north of downtown. Madrid's a city of 6 million people, so you can be kind of in the center, and still, as far as the metropolitan area goes, it's in the center, but it's not like people might be familiar with Plaza del Sol or Plaza Mayor, kind of the tourist areas that people go to. It's a little bit north of that, but there's a metro station right next to it. Madrid has a great metro system, and so you walk out and there it is, in all of its glory, 80 something thousand seats, and they just redid it. So the outside now has these very cool kind of panels, and they put a roof on it, a retractable roof and all that. So the stadium has been completely retrofitted and very modern, but still, like I said, right in the neighborhood. And then they have big video screen on the inside now, and it's about 5 or 6 tiers, and really the upper tiers, the seats are quite steep. So even when you're in the upper tier, you're looking straight down almost. It's not like being, at the top of an NFL stadium or something where the seats are way back and you're kind of off in the distance. Like, you're right on top of it, which makes for a great atmosphere when they're in the mood, for sure, but it's also funny in the sense that, like, the facilities, like, there's almost no food for sale inside the stadium. Like, they just, to them, it's kind of like, yeah, you eat and you drink and then you go to the game. And, even though the games, typically the usual starting time for a league game is 9 p.m., but in Spain, that's not late. People go out to dinner after the game. Like, the restaurants are packed. You walk home at 11:30 p.m. and you can't get into a restaurant. But inside the stadium, they don't really sell food and drinks and stuff. And what you often see is people, it's very old fashioned in a strange way, even though they have so much success and so much money and best players in the world and all that stuff. Halftime comes around and everybody you can see sits down and pulls out a ham sandwich that they brought into the stadium themselves. And they're all just sitting, having a ham sandwich and a little water and chatting. And, it's like the 1970s. It's like a big picnic. It's hilarious. And that's true everywhere you go in Spain. It's all very relaxed. There doesn't seem to be nearly as much drunken craziness as there is in England. The weather is better. Many of the stadiums don't have a roof because they don't need it. And they're just kind of not too into the bells and whistles. It's just like, here's the stadium, there's the game, bring in food and water if you want. We don't care. It's great.
Okay. Well, and over in La Liga, I won't say it's a 3-team, but basically kind of the same 3 teams kind of rotate around. Real, obviously.
Go look at the list of champions sometimes and tell me how many names you see on it, Yeah.
But another team in Madrid, they've really, they've raised their game. They've gotten up there too. And I want to talk about your experience. I believe you've been to a game over at Atletico. Kind of talk about maybe a little differences between going to one of their games and going to Real.
Well, Atletico Madrid they are in a newer stadium. Their old stadium that they were in for many, many years, they moved out of in the last 10 years or so, and that was more central as well, south of the center, but they moved out of there into a stadium that had existed already, that was built for like an athletics event, kind of a Commonwealth Games type of thing. But they took it over and built it all up, and it's out on the eastern part of the city. And it is a little bit kind of out there. It also has a metro station basically attached to it, so all of this is easy to do. But when you're at that stadium, you're just kind of at the stadium. There's not much of a neighborhood around there, so they've got a little bit more food and drinks on the premises, but very modern, very comfortable stadium. Probably holds 50 or 60,000 people, and is a lot of fun. And their atmosphere, in my experience, tends to be a little better. When you go to the stadium and you're not sure if you're going to win, I think you have a bit more passion for the game. The Real Madrid fans know they're going to win, and they're shocked when somebody scores against them. But at Atletico, they get pretty fired up. One difference, by the way, between not just Spanish football, but the rest of the world versus England, is all of these teams have like a group of ultras that are behind the goal, always waving flags, banging drums, choreographed singing. There's usually somebody with like a bullhorn calling out the songs and stuff. In England, it's not that organized. It's just people start singing. But in Spain, you can see it on the, they're always waving flags behind the goals and that kind of stuff. So Atletico has that. That's the main difference to me, is that they love their team at just like everybody else does. But yeah, they're just they're definitely the number 2 team in the city and probably number 3 in the country. So not quite as successful. And when they have gotten to the European final, they got beat by Real Madrid. So
of course,
must be frustrating. Yeah. But a beautiful, beautiful stadium. And again, very easy to get to. And we sell tickets, by the way, at both of those. So
there's 2. I'm testing your knowledge here. 2
okay.
other teams in La Liga. I'm not even going to try to pronounce them.
But I know all right, so I'll help you out. So
I was going to say, but you've been to both of them. So
I have been to both of them. Yeah, okay. The other one that is also right in the middle of Madrid and is really not very well known. So most people, at least most Americans, basically can name 3, maybe 4 teams in Spain. And we've talked about the 2 in Madrid, and then Barcelona, of course. And then there's 2 in Seville, and on and on. But yeah, the other one in Madrid that a lot of people might not realize is Rayo Vallecano. I hope my Spanish pronunciation is improving. Rayo basically means spark or energy, and Vallecano refers to the neighborhood that they're in, Vallecas. And this is a stadium that when I first went there, I couldn't believe it was a La Liga stadium. I'll tell you the key thing you got to know about Rayo Vallecano. They've been in La Liga for years. They do not sell tickets on their website. If you want tickets to a Rayo game, you got to go to the stadium and pay for your ticket in person. That's the only way to do it. It's that fact alone, the fact that a La Liga stadium, you got to go over there. And when I went there, the first time I went, I mean, you're talking about in the neighborhood. One side of the stadium is actually an apartment building. They don't even have seats behind one goal. It's just apartments right there. And yeah, everywhere you go, people are just with their sandwiches and their beers and their tapas and whatever before the game. It's just a total neighborhood, and it's a working class neighborhood. You look on a map of Madrid, there's no hotels in that neighborhood. There's no Airbnbs in that neighborhood. There's nothing in English. There's no tourists ever go there. I've even told people I think about living in Vallecas. And even Spanish people, it's like they're not concerned, but they're like, really, Vallecas? Okay. People don't usually say that. So, so I go and I'm waiting for they've got a little area fenced off for the team bus, right? And it turns out that's for the visiting team bus. So they go in and everybody waves and take pictures and they go into the stadium. And then while we're waiting, occasionally a car pulls up and just parks on the street across from the stadium, and a Rayo player or 2 will get out and greet people and take a couple of selfies and throw their pack over their shoulder and go walking into the stadium. They had Radamel Falcao playing for them when I was there, and he pulled up. Somebody dropped him off in an SUV, so I guess he was, big shot. But yeah, just Falcao walking across the street and going into the stadium. There's a boxing club as part of the stadium. I mean, it's another world. It really is. And so really fun. We don't sell tickets there, but they're not that hard to get. You just got to go over there. Entradas, that's the key word, or billetes. You got to say one of those things and take some cash. That would be helpful. So I love Rayo Vallecano. The other one you're talking about is Getafe, Getafe. They are kind of south and southwest. Like if Madrid is a clock, they're at about 7 on the dial. Okay. And I've just been to my first game out there. And it is a nice, small, cozy stadium just in kind of a suburban neighborhood. There's a train station. It's easy to get to. There's a few places to eat and drink. It's not the most exciting. You would not be going to Getafe unless you were going to a game. But 20-something thousand seat stadium, which I can attest. If it's actually the game I went to there started at 10, and it was a little chilly that night, and it was cold. So they're kind of up on a hill, and with the wind is blowing across that stadium for a 10 p.m. game, it were freezing. So it does get cold in Madrid. So Getafe is just like their neighbors, Leganés, who are currently in the 2nd division. They're at about 6 on the clock. They kind of go up and down between the top 2 divisions, and occasionally have very heated games with each other because they're kind of in neighboring suburbs of Madrid. But again, very similar. Not much around either stadium. Perfectly nice stadium, comfortable, easy to get to. You can get out there from central Madrid for a game, and super fun. So.
All this domestic league talk, but you're actually in you're in a prime spot because upcoming Euros 2024, you have some big plans. We're sitting here, we're taping this early in the week. Euros are only a couple of days away. Kind of tell us what you're playing here for at least the first week of Euros.
Yeah, one of the reasons I moved to Madrid is like the places you can get to within a couple of hours, on an airplane. So today's Tuesday, and Thursday after my Spanish class, I'm going out to the airport, flying to Munich, which cost about $125 and takes just over 2 hours. And I will be there for the Germany-Scotland opener of the Euros this summer in Germany. And if nothing else, I read that they expect something like 200,000 Scottish people to be traveling to Germany for the week or for the tournament. So if 200,000 Scottish people and God knows how many German people are going to be in Munich, we got to be there. So we're going to be there. I'm going to that. And then the next day we go to Berlin for Spain, my new country, versus Croatia. Should be a great game. I'm going to go to Hamburg and see the Netherlands play Poland. I don't really care who the Netherlands are playing, but they have a completely whack job fan base as well. And if they're going to be in Hamburg, I want to see the Orange Army there. All of this, within just a couple hours of each other. So I'm going to go see Scotland another time. Going to see Slovakia play Ukraine. Going to see Spain against Italy. All this within 7 or 8 days. So the Euros in Germany, tremendous experience. So we're going to be taking pictures, shooting videos. Stay tuned here at Groundhopper Guides video, our YouTube channel, and we should be having a lot of fun content, if only of crazy drunk Scottish people. Yep. I can't wait. So.
I was going to say also, I would assume Twitter or X now it's called, and Instagram, everywhere you guys are going to be pumping out. I know, Paul, I know you're huge into posting on that kind of stuff. So
we're trying. Yeah. My social media guy tells me to do even more. So we'll see, it's going to be great. That is one of the reasons I live here is, you can pop over to Italy for the weekend to catch a couple of games, and you're only spending an hour and a half on the plane and maybe $100 or $200 round trip. So if I'm that close to Rome, or Florence or Milan or any other place, I'm a happy guy. So what I will be doing this year, I've been to now 91 of the 92 league clubs in England. I got to get to Chesterfield this coming season to round off the 92 again. But during this season, my aim is to go to the top 2 divisions in Spain as well. Cool. Stay tuned on all of that.
I was going to say a ton of content coming. And in fact, after we just talked, even before you on, hopefully we're going to tape another vodcast here in between some of these games, because we got to show the atmosphere is just going to be unreal. So we can't wait to see what you come back with from some of these games.
Yeah, it's going to be something. Germany puts on a show, and they've got fan zones set up all over the place. And I don't even know how many people are coming. So it's going to be a party. I can't wait.
Paul, have a great time. Be safe. Take a lot of pictures. Take a lot of videos we all want to see. And we're going to catch up very soon. We're going to get your thoughts on some German soccer over in Euros.
Yeah, and everybody should get in touch with us. Come over to Madrid. The weather is great. The people are great. The food's great. The soccer's great. You got to get to Real Madrid and got to get to Barcelona. They're not in their normal stadium, but it's still a great place to go. Get in touch with us. We'll tell you how to go to Rayo Vallecano. That's where the fun is. So.
Very easy to get in touch with Paul and his crew. Go to the website. It's been scrolling this whole episode. I left it up all the time. Groundhopperguides.com. Paul, thanks for joining us. I know you have a packed schedule. You're about to leave the country, but this was great talking in Madrid, talking a little Euros. It just, again, it gets us excited for getting out of the U.S. and going to see some games and contacting you guys to get us to the grounds.